The Native Child. Chisi Chinebako.
There are animals that announce themselves. The lion roars, the elephant shakes the ground, the buffalo moves with the herd. But the leopard does not need to announce its arrival. You may not hear it, you may not see it, you may not even know that it had been watching you until it decides that the time has come. And perhaps that is why the leopard has carried such a powerful place in African imagination. It represents strength without noise, authority without performance, focus without destruction, and danger without warning. Today on The Native Child, Chisi Chinebako, Stories of Zimbabwe, we explore the story of one of Zimbabwe's most respected and fascinating lineages, Nhewa, Simboti. And across some of our Nguni languages, Ingwe, the Leopard Totem. Mwaita Nhewa, Ingwe ine mavara, mazviita Simboti, chiruka, nakuzvibatsira, chikatsa, vamutei. Today we enter the world of the leopard. The Nhewa Totem is traditionally represented by the leopard. In Shona praise traditions, members of these lineages are frequently addressed as Nhewa or Simboti. In East Ndebele, the leopard is called Ingwe. The word Mbada is also widely used in Zimbabwe when referring to the leopard, although the principal clan names in the praise poetry are Nhewa and Simboti. This is a lineage whose identity has become associated with courage, independence, strategy, and extraordinary determination. But as always, we must remember something important. Emutupo is not a personality test. It does not mean that every person of the Nhewa Totem behaves in exactly the same way. Totem symbolism tells us how a lineage remembers and praises itself. It gives us the language through which ancestors, characters, history, and belonging are celebrated. So when a Nhewa person is compared to a leopard, we are not simply describing an animal. We are invoking an entire philosophy, a philosophy of confidence, of patience, and of knowing when to move. The leopard is a solitary animal. Unlike lions, leopards do not usually depend on a pride. They hunt largely alone. They defend their own territories. They rely on observation, strength, patience, and carefully calculated movement. And that quality of self-reliance is reflected directly in one of the great Nhewa praise names, Nyakuzvibatsira, the one who handles matters themselves, the self-reliant one, the one who does not wait for another person to create the path. There is something powerful in that name. Nyakuzvibatsira does not necessarily mean refusing help or abandoning the community. It means possessing the courage and ability to act. It describes someone who does not remain helpless when a situation demands movement. Someone who can stand independently. Someone who can make a decision and accept the responsibility that follows it. This is the leopard spirit, not constant aggression, not empty noise, but capability. Among the names and praise identities or praise identifiers appearing in Nhewa traditions are Simboti, Chiruka, Nyakuzvibatira, Chikatsi, Vamutei, Nyamutei, Kutsoka, Membere, Undimu, Sanyanga, Nyamaruodzo, Muchera, Chirefu, Tezi, and Tangwena or Tawangwena, a name closely connected with the Tangwena people. These names do not only perform exactly the same function. Some refer to branches of the lineage. Some may preserve the names of ancestors. Some may remember places of settlement. Others are honorific descriptions used when thanking, greeting, praising members of the clan. This is why Mtubo cannot always be reduced to one animal and one surname. Inside every large totem are smaller histories, journeys, marriages, conflicts, settlement, ancestors whose names survived because their descendants continued speaking them. And regional variations are normal. A Nhewa family from Nyanga may preserve a different sequence of phrases from a family whose ancestors settled elsewhere. One branch may emphasize Simboti. Another may be better known as Chiruka. Another may use Ramutei or Nyamutei. The language changes, but the ancestral animal remains the same. Ingwe Namawara. One of the most memorable lines in the Nhewa praise poem is Ingwe Inamawara, the leopard that has markings, the leopard covered with rosettes. At first, this may sound like a simple physical description. Of course, a leopard has spots, but the praise poetry rarely stops at the obvious. The leopard's markings conceal it. They help it disappear into woodland, grass, shadow, and broken light. The very thing that makes the leopard beautiful also makes it difficult to detect. So when the clan is praised as Ingwe Namawara, we are praising more than appearance. We are praising adaptability, the ability to understand the surroundings, the ability to move through different environments without losing identity. The leopard does not remove its markings to survive. Its markings are precisely what allow it to survive. And perhaps there's a lesson here for us as Zimbabweans. We do not have to erase our identity to enter the modern world. Our identity can be the very thing that teaches us how to navigate. The Nhewa lineage is often described as fearless, but there's a difference between courage and recklessness. The leopard is not an animal that wastes energy fighting everything it encounters. It observes, it calculates, it chooses its movement. It knows when to remain still, and it knows when hesitation has ended. That is why another striking line in the praise poetry says, Mondi no pondera pachena, pasina kana negwenzi. A formidable one that strikes even in the open, where there is not even a bush. It is intense praise language. It should not be interpreted as literal command to violence. In the language of clan praise, exaggeration communicates fearlessness. The language tells us, even when there is nowhere to hide, Simboti does not lose courage. Even when the protection has disappeared, Nhewa does not immediately surrender. Even when everyone can see the danger, the leopard remains capable of acting. That is the meaning of ancestral praise. It gives a person strength by reminding them of the qualities their lineage admired. Another important Nhewa identifier is Vamutei, or in another form, Nyamute. The word evokes the one who sets a trap, plans or hunts strategically. Again, this connects directly with the nature of the leopard. The leopard does not survive through size alone. It is smaller than a lion. It does not possess the mass of a buffalo. It cannot shake the land like an elephant. Its advantage is intelligence, timing, positioning, the ability to move close without attracting attention, the ability to understand the behavior of what it is pursuing. So Vamutei can be understood as praise for planning, the strategist, the one who does not simply rush into a situation, the one who watches first. And in life, that quality can be more powerful than brute strength. Many of us lose battles not because we are weak, but because we move before we understand the ground. The leopard teaches something different. Study the ground, know the path, protect your energy. And when you finally move with purpose. The names Chiruka and Chikatsa are repeatedly preserved in versions of the Nhewa praise poem. Their precise interpretation may differ between family traditions, and they should not automatically be assigned exclusively to men or women without asking the specific family concerned. Now, this is an important point. Today, online lists often try to force every clan name into a neat category. This one is male, this one is female, this one is a surname, this one is a subtotem. But oral traditions are not always that simple. The same name may be an ancestor in one branch, an honorific in another, and a form of address in a third. So when we speak about Chiruka and Chikatsa, we honor them as established voices within the Nhewa praise tradition, while also respecting the families who carry the fuller meanings. Because a website can give you a name, but sometimes only an uncle, aunt, a grandmother, a grandfather, an elder can tell you why a particular household uses that name. The geography preserved in the Nhewa praise tradition is wide. The poetry remembers names such as Kutsoka, Membere, Mundimu, Chai, Oku, Tezi, Tawangena, and Sena. The references to Tawangena and Sena are especially significant because they suggest a long history connected with movement across the region, now divided between Zimbabwe and Mozambique. This does not necessarily mean that every Nhewa family travels along the same route. Large lineages separate over time. One group settles in one area, another continues traveling. A name changes pronunciation, right? A chief's name becomes associated with the territory. A territorial name eventually becomes the identity of a people. What the praise poetry preserves is not a modern passport route. It preserves ancestral memory, a memory of movement through places that existed long before today's national borders, right? The Nhewa story therefore reminds us that Zimbabwean history cannot always be understood by looking only within the modern boundaries of Zimbabwe. Our ancestors moved through the Zambezi Valley, the Eastern Highlands, the Mozambique interior, and the wider Southern African region. They traded, they married, they fought, they fled conflict, they established new communities, and they carried their praise names with them. One of the most famous branches associated with the Nhewa Symbotic totem is the Tangwena people of the Nyanga region. The Tangwena became closely associated with the mountains, with mountainous landscapes of eastern Zimbabwe. This is a region of dramatic valleys, forests, streams, mist, and stone. a landscape well suited to the symbolism of the leopard, an animal that moves through rock, woodland, and mountain shadow. The name Tangwena is also connected to the Tawangena, remembered in Nhewa praise poetry. Over generations, pronunciation and spelling can shift, especially when oral names are recorded by different administrators, missionaries, or writers. What remains clear is that the Tangwena identity became one of the most historical prominent expressions of the Nhewa Simboti lineage. And no discussion of this history can be complete without speaking about one man, Chief Rekai Tangwena. Chief Rekai Tangwena was born around 1910 and later became chief of the Tangwena people. He belonged to the Nhewa Totem, but he is remembered not only because he was a chief, he is remembered because he refused to abandon his people's land. During colonial rule, the Tangwena community faced repeated attempts to remove them from the territory they regarded as ancestral land. Their homes were destroyed, their communities was harassed. Chief Tangwena was arrested repeatedly, but each time the authorities attempted to break the community, the people returned and rebuilt. Chief Tangwena's resistance was not merely a private dispute over a farm. It became a symbol of the larger struggle over who had the right to belong to the land, who could define ownership, who could declare an African community illegal on the soil of its own ancestors, and who possessed the authority to remove a chief from the people who recognized him. Chief Tangwena refused to accept that colonial paperwork could erase ancestral belonging. His resistance became legendary. This is where the symbolism of Nhewa becomes displayed. Nyakuzibatira, the one who stands through their own strength. Ingwe, Inamavara, the leopard that knows its territory. Mondi, Nopondera Bachena, the one who remains courageous even when there is nowhere left to hide. Chief Tangwena did not simply speak the praise names. Through his resistance, he gave those names a modern historical expression. Imagine the scene. A settlement is destroyed, families are removed, livestock is scattered. The authorities believe the matter has ended, but slowly the people return. A roof appears, a wall rises, a cooking fire burns again. The community begins to build, to rebuild. Then the authorities return and destroy it again. And once again, Tangwena people return. And that repeated rebuilding is one of the most powerful parts of the story, because resistance is not always a dramatic battle. Sometimes resistance is returning home. Sometimes resistance is rebuilding the same wall. Sometimes resistance is planting again in soil from which somebody has ordered you to disappear. Sometimes resistance is simply refusing to accept that your existence requires the permission of those who arrived after you. The leopard may retreat into the mountain, but retreat is not always defeat. Sometimes it is survival. Sometimes it is preparation. Sometimes it is the decision to remain alive long enough to return. Chief Tangwena also became part of Zimbabwe's liberation history. He is widely remembered for assisting Robert Mugabe and Edgar Tekbere as they crossed into Mozambique to join the liberation struggle. His knowledge of the eastern terrain and border region made him an important figure during this period. But his greatest historical significance extends beyond helping famous political leaders. He represented a community whose struggle over land had already exposed the injustice of colonial rule. For the Tangwena people, the liberation struggle was not an abstract political theory. They had seen their houses destroyed, They had experienced forced removal. They had been told that the land of their ancestors no longer belonged to them. Their resistance was therefore rooted in lived experience. Chief Tangwena later served in independent Zimbabwe's first parliament and died in 1984. He was declared a national hero and buried at the National Heroes Acre in Harare. He remains especially significant because he is remembered as a traditional leader whose authority came from his people, but whose courage eventually became part of the national history. The Nhewa praise poetry also contains an intriguing line referring to Mwana wa Nyamaruodzo. Akapinda mubuwe nembwa dzake. The child of Nyamaruodzo entered the cave with his dogs. The surviving line does not give us an entire story. And this is one of the tragedies of oral knowledge. Sometimes the praise remains, but the full event behind it is forgotten. We are left with a doorway into a story. A person called Nyamaruodzo, a cave, dogs, and an act memorable enough to survive through generations. Was it a hunt, an escape, a spiritual encounter, a place of refuge, a confrontation with danger? Without the testimony of the relevant family elders, we should not invent certainty. But even the fragments tells us something. The Nhewa history was once filled with named individuals whose actions became part of collective memory. The praise poem is therefore not merely a collection of beautiful words, it is an archive. Some pages remain complete, others have been damaged by time, and some are waiting for a descendant to remember the missing story. Because the leopard is solitary, people may describe the Nhewa spirit as independent. But independence can be misunderstood. Solitude is not the same thing as loneliness. The leopard is solitary because it is capable. It can travel alone, it can hunt alone, it can protect its territory, but it still participates in the continuation of life. It mates, raises young. A mother leopard protects and teaches her cubs. So the lesson is not that Nhewa people should reject family or community. The lesson is that belonging should not erase individual strength. A healthy community is not made from helpless people. It is made from capable people who choose to support one another. That is the deeper meaning of Nyakuzvibatira. Stand on your own feet, but remember where those feet came from. Across many parts of Southern Africa, leopard imagery has long been associated with authority, prestige, and leadership. Leopard skins historically appeared in royal and chiefly dress because the animal represented power, rarity, and command. But the leopard's authority is different from the lion's. The lion's power is public. It is heard. It is displayed. The leopard's power is concealed. It does not require an audience. That gives us two different pictures of leadership. One leader speaks loudly and gathers people around the public presence. Another watches, listens, and acts quietly. Neither style is automatically superior, but the leopard reminds us that visibility is not the same as power. Some of the most important people in a community are not the people holding the microphone. They are the people quietly protecting families, preserving knowledge, creating opportunities, solving problems, and carrying responsibilities that the rest of us may never see. Traditionally, members of a totemic lineage are expected to respect the animal associated with their clan. For Nhewa people, this means treating the leopard as an ancestral emblem rather than ordinary meat. Harming or consuming the totem animal would traditionally be regarded as disrespectful to the lineage. However, customs differ between families. Some observe the taboo literally, others understand it symbolically. Some may never encounter a leopard outside a wildlife reserve. The deeper principle remains respect. The totem animal is not worshipped as a god. It functions as a symbol of kinship, memory, and moral responsibility. The relationship says, this creature reminds us who we are. Therefore, we do not treat it carelessly. And in the modern world, perhaps the traditional respect can also inspire conservation. A leopard cannot remain an ancestral symbol if human beings destroy every environment in which leopards can survive. Cultural preservation and environmental preservation are not separate conversations. When an animal disappears, some of the stories attached to it become harder for future generations to understand. Like other Zimbabwean totems, Nhewa also serves an important social function. People sharing the same motubo are traditionally understood to belong to a broad ancestral family. For that reason, marriage between people of the same totem is generally discouraged or prohibited. Even when two Nhewa people cannot trace their connection through a recent family tree, the shared totem warns them that an older relationship may exist. The motubo therefore operated as a form of ancestral record keeping. Before birth certificates, before national identity numbers, before digital family trees, the clan name carried information. It told people, these are your relatives. These are the people you must respect as kin. These are the families with whom marriage may be inappropriate. This system was not perfect, and traditions varied, but it performed an important social role across generations. One of the challenges when researching Zimbabwean totems is that similar animal symbols sometimes appear in different cultures and lineages. The fact that a clan uses a phrase connected with strength, royalty, and hunting does not automatically make it Nhewa. And the fact that a surname exists among the Rele, Zulu, Swazi, Ngoni, or Shona-speaking communities does not mean that every person carrying that surname belongs to the same totem. For example, Maseko and the Mkhaman have their own established Ngoni praise traditions. Stole has separate clan histories. Maposa is commonly connected in Zimbabwe with Ngara or Nungu traditions. We should therefore resist the temptation to combine every powerful sounding name under one animal. Cultural preservation requires generosity, but it also requires accuracy. When we place unrelated names under the wrong motubo, we do not make the lineage larger. We make several different histories harder to understand. So the most respectful approach is always ask the family, ask their full praise poem, ask where their ancestors came from, ask which names their elders actually used. A surname alone is not always enough. So what can the Nhewa Totem teach us in the modern world? First, it teaches us that strength does not have to be noisy. You do not need to announce every plan. You do not need to explain every move. Sometimes you must work quietly until the work can speak for itself. Second, Nhewa teaches us patience. The leopard does not chase every movement in the grass. It waits for the right moment. In a world of instant reactions, online arguments, and pressure to respond immediately, patience is power. Third, it teaches self-reliance. Learn the skills, understand the problem. Do not remain permanently dependent on somebody else to rescue you. Fourth, it teaches us to defend what matters. Chief Rekai Tangwena's story reminds us that belonging, dignity, and justice sometimes survive only because somebody refuses to move. And finally, it teaches us adaptability. Ingwe inamavara. The leopard survives because it understands its environment without surrendering what it is. That may be one of the most important lessons for Zimbabweans living both home and across the diaspora. Adapt, learn new languages, enter new professions, build lives in new countries, but do not remove your ancestral markings simply to make other people comfortable. To the young person who has been told you are Nhewa or you are Simboti, but nobody explained what that means. Your Mutupo is not just the name of a dangerous animal. It is an invitation to ask where your family came from, to ask which branch you belong to ask whether your family uses Chiruka, Chikatsa, Bamutei, Nyamutei, Sanyanga, or other phrases. Ask why. Ask about the grandparents whose names are no longer mentioned. Ask whether your people came through Sena. Ask about Tawangena. Ask about Nyanga. Ask about the people who rebuilt their homes after colonial forces destroyed them. Ask about Chief Rekai Tangwena. Because every unanswered question becomes more difficult for the next generation to recover. And one day a child may come to you and say, what does our totem mean? When that day comes, you should be able to give them more than the name of an animal. You should be able to give them a story. Mwaita Nhewa, ingwe inamavara. Machita Simboti, Chiruka, Nyakuzvibatira, Chikatsa, Vamutei, Mwaita vari kutsoka, vari mhembere, vari mundimu, vanorima nhewa, mondi inopondera pachena, pasina kana negwenzi. Mwaita vari kuchai, Sanyanga, mwana wanyamurodzo, akapinda nebuwe nembwa dzake. Mwaita vari kuku, muchera, chirebvu. Mwaita vari tezi. Mwazviita Nyamutei, tatenda, Mutawangena, Musena. Aiwa zvaonekwa Nhewa, Simboti. To the Nhewa people, may your silence never be mistaken for weakness. May your patience never be mistaken for fear. May your independence never cause you to forget your relatives. And may your ability to adapt never require you to abandon your identity. You are the leopard with markings, the one who understands the landscape, the one who does not waste movement, the one who watches, the one who waits, and when the movement arrives, the one who acts. My name is Tawanda Munala, and this is the Native Child Stories of Zimbabwe, Chisi Chinebako, where we are not simply collecting names, we are recovering the stories that those names were created to carry. Until next time, know your Mutupo, ask about your Chidao, speak the names of your ancestors, and keep the story alive. See you next time.
The Native Child. Chisi Chinebako.